Welcome to Steve's Cottage with Steve Horner. Steve Horner, a former radio talk show host, helps spotlight the source of today's social chaos while offering practical solutions to the problems negatively affecting you and your family. And now, here's Steve.
It's showtime! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. Thank you for coming to visit me at Steve's humble cottage. Boy, oh boy, we can't get rid of the cold weather. That prognosticator of prognosticators, Punxsutawney Phil, was certainly correct on February 2nd when he saw his shadow and predicted not an early spring. So throughout the entire West here, throughout the entire Midwest and upper Midwest and all the way across east, out east, it has gotten and remained cold and snowy. So Phil hit it on the button again. Well, I'm really happy to have your company here. And by the way, I was over at the local university here, which used to be called Dixie, but the do-gooders got rid of the name Dixie because, well, it had connotations of slavery and repression, you see. So the suck-ups, to get more federal grant aid, they changed it to Dixie Tech, you see. So we've lost all our history on the name Dixie. It was a Confederate state, and they grew cotton here, some of the early settlers, to make ends meet, and it was quite innovative of them. And they've taken all that, well, they haven't taken it away, but because there's still plenty of connotations of, or not connotations, but symbols of Dixie and emblems and writings of Dixie throughout the area. And it makes a lot of people proud. But I was over at the Hilton last night having a brewski. And here in St. George, Utah, there's not, you can't have a beer on every corner. It's quite disciplined. But the Hilton, being a national, international place, they have a nice little pub I like to go to and step out on the patio now and then and watch the traffic and play a little pool on the inside, have a puff of a cigarette. And it reminds me of being on a road trip, because I meet people from all over the country, and Interstate 15 is right across, a boulevard over here, and with a line of restaurants. So it reminds me of being away, and it's kind of fun talking to people from all over the country, and but yet I'm so close to home. So I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but it's quite a treat. So while I was over there, there was a fella from Jersey. And these guys from Jersey, kind of like from Brooklyn, They tell you it like it is, and he's a white guy, and he's having fun with me because I'm being a little bit funky too. And he's driving a great, big, huge Prevost. Great big Prevost, big bus. I says, that must be $500,000. He says, you hit it right on the button. I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm here with the Wichita State baseball team. You're kidding. No, they're playing Dixie here, or, the Tech. Their season started February 17th. Can you imagine playing outdoor baseball in 47-degree weather? Why aren't they inside studying? Why aren't they inside learning? But instead, this guy from little old Wichita State is driving in to keep his team at the Hilton in a $500,000 Prevost. What's the tax dollar doing? These kids growing up these days, they can't tell you anything other than digital crap. If you ask them why this is, how this happened, they have no idea. Who was the president? What does he sign? What was his underlying achievement? No idea. Don't care. I wasn't born then. Well, good luck with acquiring your Social Security if you're 50 years of age and you have 10, 20, 30 years to wait. Good luck with that. But, and another sign of the times. So I'm over at the university, and it's in the 40s, and you got a nipply wind coming out of the west, coming out of the north, and a little bit of snow coming down now and then. And these dopes walking around with just a T-shirt, jeans, and hardly a hat. And I've asked these people, why are you dressed like that? Aren't you cold? No, I'm not cold. I'm not cold. Well, what are you going to do? Punch them because they're idiots? I mean, I remember in Wilmer when there were a bunch of turkeys being raised there that went over to Hormel. The storyline was that turkeys are so stupid that when it rains, they look up at the sky and they drown. That's what these idiots are doing. And you're depending on them for Social Security? So when you ask them, why are you dressed like that? Well, because I'm warm. You know, that's like asking the people, well, why do you profess to be a Bible thumper, but you don't walk the walk? Because 2 Timothy, 1 Timothy, 2nd chapter, 5-8 says women should not be in positions of public control and public authority. Well, I just, blah, blah, blah. They just won't answer the question. So let's go to Sean. Sean, why are these people dressed skimpily on what is quite a nipply day?
They identify as on the spectrum of temperature differently than you do.
Are they alphabet people?
No, they're temperature people.
Are you putting me on, or is this really a concept that I'm not familiar with and need to get hip with?
What? They're warm and you're not?
Really?
Or they're cool and you're not? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, whoa!
Oh, I know. Steve's no longer cool. Okay, gotcha.
No, there's always
they identify with temperature, but that is really funny. They identify with temperature.
They identify differently on the temperature spectrum.
Yeah. So in other words, that's a great answer. Is their identification able to ward off the cold? Or are they like turkeys and they just kind of pretend it doesn't exist?
I think you're implying that temperature affects us all equally.
Stupid me.
Well, there's always that guy. He's got the hoodie, the shorts, and he's got the Crocs, and he's walking through the snow.
No, exactly.
Every college, everybody, there's that guy everywhere.
And then you have a guy my age that does the same thing that walks into the grocery store.
But then I see the girls over the summer. They're wearing the big old puffy boots, the big Uggs.
The Uggs.
And it's like, isn't it hot out? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
They're identifying with the weather differently. Just
The
as we identify
the spectrum of weather. The spectrum.
The weather spectrum.
The weather spectrum.
That's a great answer.
This is where I lie on the weather spectrum, on the temperature spectrum.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I don't know. Did you concoct that yourself?
Immediately.
That is absolutely warranted of copyright. You really need to give that some circulation because the cunts.
I'm gonna get some T-shirts made.
The cunts will buy into that one. Get some T-shirts.
I'll get one for you.
That's beautiful. And of course, before we get, I'd wear it, and I would be dressed like this on a cold day, and they would They would belittle me.
Well, the heat rises and leaves the head. And you don't have that going for you right now,
Well,
Steve. Sorry.
no. I just got off the golf course, and of course
Okay.
I'm looking dapper, and of course I've got this going for me. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You're
bald!
Oh, cut it out! You're identifying with.
The follically challenged on the follicle spectrum.
I thought that I could get away with this without anybody.
Steve, where do you sit?
Playing-
Where do you stand on the
playing-
spectrum of fallacy? No, that's not it. The follicle spectrum.
How about a follicle fallacy?
A follicle fallacy?
No, I just.
Is that a bald face liar?
No. Is that a what?
A bald face liar?
A bald face liar.
A follicle fallacy is a bald face liar. Come on.
Listen, have you ever heard of women wearing falsies? Why do they wear
Are those
falsies?
the ones that spin around? And
identifying
I
with
have to pay
flat
the
chests?
dollars?
Huh?
I have to pay the extra dollars to see the.
I don't know if you're the type that has to pay for it. I don't know. Maybe that's why you're against. That's why you're for. I don't know. Are you for ladies' night?
What?
Hey, let's jump around here a little bit, huh? It's my dollar. Why can't I spend it the way I want to?
Guys show up to strip clubs with money. They do the make it rain thing with dollar bills. I show up with pennies. I make it hail.
That is really crazy. What do they do with the dollars? I've never heard that before.
Oh, no, they throw the money in the air.
They do?
So they call making it rain. So it's raining
Is that
dollar
like
bills.
a strip joint?
It's a strip club thing, yeah.
Oh, see, I've never been to one.
So I take pennies and I make it hail. So I throw pennies at them. Because I'm on the I'm on the weather.
Bouncer loves you for that one.
I'm on the weather spectrum.
You're
on the spectrum of weather.
I would suspect that you're also on the security lens video.
No, I'm the DJ.
Oh, that's right. You are a man.
Here comes Bethany. All right.
The man of many, many, many talents. Well, so anyhow, no, I identify with coolness, and not a lot of people can show up at the golf course looking like this, and then come right to the cottage and do the podcast, and then talk about how cunts are in control with education and with religion and with corrections and with public schools. And are any of those industries doing well? No. Families, single parents aren't cutting it. The churches in support of them. Why? We want their money, Steve. We want their money. And so that's how they ignore 1 Timothy and others and other verses throughout the Bible that says women just shouldn't be in positions of power over men. They're not wired that way. And, I could do 10,000 shows. But it all comes down to that, folks. I could talk about different episodes in life, just like I've been doing with Sean here for the last 10 minutes. But it all comes down to, listen, the reason we're bleeding is because we keep slicing our wrists. Women are not wired to be in positions of public policy making. They are sentimentalists, not pragmatists. Sentimentalists deal with emotions. Oh, you poor thing. You deserve favors. Do we white guys deserve favors? No. We're the only ones who don't. Blacks, whites, alphabet people, those who don't dress properly in inclement weather, those in wheelchairs, Jews, they all deserve favors, but not white guys, you see. And who was it? It was Martin Luther King, Kennedy, and Lincoln, who says if you discriminate against even one man, you can't have equal rights for all. So we just keep cutting our wrists, and I can come back to you with a different story about Prevost and about weather and about surfing and about, hanging out with chicks and playing pool and the whole thing. Everything comes down to why is it a dysfunctional society? Because women do not belong in places of public accommodation. Well, with all that being said, let's do the sign of the cross in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Here I am, one of the Catholics here in Mormon-dominated Utah, and I love it. I like different cultures. I like different things. I like different. It invites investigation, and that makes you smarter. This being Ash Wednesday has quite a bit of what's the word, Sean? Ash Wednesday has quite a bit of connotations. I think I used that word before. It has a lot of attachment to it. What's the word?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I told somebody a while back, I said, hey, you got some dirt on your forehead.
Gotcha.
And they said, it's Ash Wednesday. And I said, what's that?
Yeah.
And I had to be schooled.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, really? You had to be schooled?
I had no idea.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was selling AT&T door to door in Salt Lake. I had no idea.
Gotcha. Well, no, that's right. And before I had my outs with the Catholic Church, which I have, I still believe in the sacraments. I believe in the sanctity of the church. I believe in the policies of which I was raised. I'm glad I have that standard of belief to hold me grounded through thick and thin throughout life, of which a lot of people don't have anymore. So, but it's a human institution, and I believe the Catholics have gone astray with their socialism, with their such obvious patriotism, or what's the word I had? I had it down here. Exploitation of women. It is exploitation of women because they have money now, and we want their company. So, Steve, we're not going to talk about 1 Timothy here, okay? That turns women off. We're not going to do that. So a lot of people don't talk about Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is a sign that the priest or some ordained person puts on your forehead in a solemn ceremony on Ash Wednesday to signify and remind you that you are ashes, and to ash you shall return. Your soul goes to however you have exhibited your life through this mortal period of time. And there's a lot of different philosophies that go with that, different than just simply heaven and or hell. And during Ash Wednesday, which is, by the way, the beginning of Lent, which leads up to Easter, which celebrates the passion, death, and resurrection of our Lord, Jesus Christ. It reminds us of his death and resurrection, that we are mortal, and that God gave up his life as a man to show us the way with that example. And so during Lent, we can give up something in our life. Over the years, it has been with me, giving up the brewskis, giving up the cigarettes, giving up the caffeine. I'm not so strict on that anymore because I'll tell you, after 40 years, it's really, really tough, you know? And sometimes when you get a little older, you need a little spiff at the end of the day. And that's why the church says, well, you don't have to adhere to these things after you're age 60. But I did, and I have, and I'm glad I did, because you know why? Because on Easter, when you pop a cold beer and you have a little puff while your supper is cooking, you feel really empowered. You feel really strong. A lot of people say, I'm not going to do that because that's just a policy, a principle of that chauvinist Catholic Church. Listen, it really, really helps. You know, it's good exercise for the brain. It's like trying. It's helping you appreciate all the things that you have in life. And you don't have to just give up things during Lent. You can also chip in and do things extra for Lent. Like my sons and I did. We often would visit the old folks' home a couple of times during the week during Lent. Man, did they love it.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I've decided to do reverse Lent.
Okay. So
I need some ideas for vices I can take on for the next 40 days.
Oh, that's right. No, that's why.
So I'm going to do reverse Lent.
That's why you've got that Mr. Perfect on the back of your shirt. I know. Yeah. That's right. I forgot who I was talking to. You want to take on some vices? Well, you know,
something on the spectrum of vices.
Hey, listen. After the show, go to the what?
On the spectrum of vices.
You want a whole spectrum.
I need something on the spectrum of vices that I can take on.
Okay, on the spectrum of vices, I would say take up illegal drugs. I would say take up. I got a cold bush in the fridge here at the cottage. I've got a pack of cigarettes. Now, you take up cigarette smoking, you know? I mean, once you get past the coughing and the hacking and the smell bad stage, you really get the habit. And
as long as I have a destination on the journey.
No, that's it.
I'm good.
It's the habit. And when you start coughing and, you know, spitting up that phlegm and looking and feeling bad, and your wife says, gosh, you stink, then you know you've got it bad. And then at that point, you can start giving it up. And when you do, and she says, oh, honey, you smell so sweet again, and you've got your wind back, man, you're going to feel good.
Dude, you just give me a win-win situation. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. So anyhow, I only wish the rest of the listeners were as receptive to my advice as you. But Lent truly is a fascinating time. And people do wonder what those ashes are. And it's 40 days, you see, not counting Sundays. Get this now. This is the formula for Easter. That's why it's a different date every year. It's 40 Lent, the day after Mardi Gras in that rebellious New Orleans area, you see. And so it starts on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and that date is always different because it's 40 days back from Easter, not counting Sundays. And Easter, then, is the first Sunday following the first full moon following the spring equinox. This year it's very early. And so that's why that keeps changing. But during this time, we shall never forget. And this is why the title is as it is. Am I like you? Am I like you? Oh, folks, in so many regards, I am like you. I remember my mortality often. I remember to take advantage of smelling the roses and jumping out of the box all the time, because there's a good old Latin phrase that you have expressed in English often. Time flies. In Latin, tempus fugit. But it's accompanied by another Latin phrase, which is memento mori, which says, remember death. Because, folks, it's a-coming. And it comes like a thief at night. It comes barreling down the chute just when you least expect it. So make sure that you've done some Lenten principles, some Lenten exercises. Make sure that you've given up a few things for God and for your own mental well-being so you can come back after the 6 weeks and say, that was refreshing. I feel stronger. I really appreciate life now a little bit more because I didn't realize how cushy I had it until I gave up some of those cushy pastimes in life. Am I a lot like you? Am I? I think I am. Tempus fugit, memento mori. We'll all meet in the hereafter. I was watching a couple of DVDs lately. This particular one was Mahalia Jackson. She went on to become known as the Queen of Soul, a storied gospel singer during the time of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., and stood by his side throughout many, many of his marches. And then of Ted Kaczynski. Ted, born in 1942, went on to become a professor, I think, at Harvard. Got really cycloned into the hate of loud marketing noise, loud digital crap, just the overall burden of society. Went to move to a shack in Montana. Started sending bombs to the presidents of all these digital companies. Over 23 years, killed 3, maimed dozens. He's doing time now in Florence, Colorado. Am I a lot like Ted? I could relate. Isn't that something? I could relate to his anger. You go to an NBA ball game or football and all the marketing, all the loud noise, all the crap going on, all the hype and everything else. I'd much rather be at home. Ted couldn't get away from it. I am not a killer. I am not a violent man. But I wonder how many others are out there ready to go over the top because they are. Well, folks, this has been fun. Thank you for joining me. I'm Steve Horner. You go to stevehornerbooks.com and learn all about it in any one of my books there at stevehornerbooks.com, and you really will get an earful and an eyeful, and I know you're going to learn a lot, and it's going to be good for you and your family and your society. So thanks for joining me. Buy one of those books, and meanwhile, stay on that rugged, less traveled path of life I promise you, folks, you'll come away with it with a lot more rewards and better stories, and you'll be a richer, stronger person for it. So until next time, you take real good care of yourself and come back again and see me at Steve's Cottage.
Thanks for joining us. Visit Steve's Cottage again with Steve Horner.